There we go. Hey guys. Woo! Now I'm all sweaty.
Good morning, good evening, everybody.
Can you hear us? Give us a tap in the chat. Hey, B. Okay. Wonderful.
Yes, you can hear us.
Yay.
Awesome.
Sorry for the hiccup. I don't know what happened. So here is the view out our front door. Just so you know, you are sitting on our front step and we are on the step below. And so this is what we get to wake up to and look out our front door and see each morning. Thought we'd share it with you.
Yeah, you can see right in the corner over there. That is the back of the college. There's the corner of our truck, and the building you see right here is where they have their meals for the college. It's an outdoor kitchen and area.
Yeah. So we thought we'd start today by just telling you surprises in Thailand. How about that?
My first surprise was the traffic and the driving. I was trying to come up with ways to compare it, and the best I think I can do is I can compare Bangkok probably to New York, where the amount of lanes, the amount of people, but the one thing that doesn't compare is the amount of motorbikes. There are scooters and motorcycles everywhere, and they drive wherever they want. And when you're at a light, they all converge to the front of the light. They all work their way to the front. So then if you're at the other side of the light, when that light turns green, you see just this wave of all of these motorbikes coming through. And then Chiang Mai is about 45 minutes from here. It's the next biggest city, and I kind of liken that to Chicago, to where it's big, but you can get around. The traffic is not as terrible as Bangkok, and then we live 45 minutes.
Only during traffic times, like before and after work. Then
Correct.
You go about a mile in 15 minutes.
Yes.
So, yeah, it gets bad. It gets 6 lanes of traffic all stopped.
Yes. So that was my big shock. And while the Thai people are the nicest people you'll ever meet, they change when they get into a car. The people around here do not have the right of way. So they will not stop for you. They don't let people in. It's not easy to merge either.
Yeah. So when you're walking, you do have to be extremely careful because they're not watching for you like you do in the States, because it's your fault if you get hit. So it's hard to remember when you walk down the road because you have to cross some side streets to get to the restaurants or to the shops. And so for me, it's just hard to remember that I need to stop and I need to double check no one's turning, because they're just not going to stop. But
there is a total lack of parking as well, which is another reason why a lot of people have motorbikes. Number one, it's a lot less expensive to have one, and you can get places a lot better. There's a lot of places we'd like to stop, but we just can't because there's really nowhere to park. And I kind of need to get rid of that Midwest mentality of being so nice when I'm driving. You have to be okay with pulling over and having people behind you as you look for a place to park. So that's been the biggest challenge for me, the driving around here.
The biggest challenge for me is riding with him while he's driving because he's driving on the opposite side of the road with a stick shift, shifting with the opposite hand. And your turn signal and windshield wipers are switched. So everything you knew growing up for the last 40 some years of driving, or 30 some, sorry, you're not that old, 30 some years of driving is completely reversed. So getting that in your head, plus learning where to go, plus watching for motorbikes. And the other thing that happens is as you're driving down the road, every, mile or so, there's a new restaurant or a new stand or something, and people just pull over and stop. there's no place to pull over, they just stop right in front of you. So you can be going around a hill to a car parked in 2 lanes of traffic instead of an open lane where you're supposed to be able to drive. So, and the roads are not quite as big. I put a TikTok on showing one of the villages, which is actually Maytang, that we drove through the back way instead of taking the major road, which we will not do again. And there's literally one lane of traffic with stands on both sides and motorbikes and 2-way traffic. So you have to pull over to let people by. And so when you're pulling over, to me, I'm like against a building in a truck, and it gets nerve-wracking. So we used to have Allstate. I guess we still might in the States, but we used to have Allstate, and they had the good driving like app that you can have. And a lot of people have a good driving app. Hi, Centralia. Hi, Terry.
Good morning,
hi,
Laura.
Floyd.
Yes.
Hi, Ethan. Hi, Georgetown. Hi, Brina. And so the Allstate app would like monitor how good your driving was, if you picked up, if your phone moved, if you went too fast, if you turned too fast, if you stopped too fast. And now what do you use to monitor your driving?
Nothing.
You use me every time I jump.
Well, there's 2 things that happen. Since we are driving on the other side, I have a tendency to drift towards the left. And so since that's where Danica's sitting now, the car tends to be a little closer to either the center line or the side line,
or the drop off,
or the drop off. So the one thing I get is this. is Danica's way of telling me to get back over. And I do focus a lot right now on making sure that I'm in the right area. And then the other thing I try to base my drives on is how many gasps I get. If I get no gasps from Danica, it was a good drive.
Yep. And if I can move my shoulder after I get out of the car instead of being all tense the whole time, it was a great drive. So not as relaxing to go to the stores as you would think, or take a drive. But there are places up here, like literally you see a busy road, and I've put some pictures on about the busy road that takes you from Chiang Mai to Maytang. On the back side of every building, it's just open fields of rice paddies. So if you take any back road anywhere, you're going to be seeing open fields. Sometimes there's less traffic, sometimes there isn't. But there are those open areas. So Maytang kind of feels like Decatur a lot, where everybody knows people, everyone knows we're here.
Everyone's related to everybody somehow.
Yeah, it's just
more of a small town feel.
Yeah, people grow up here, they stay here, they open a business here, and so it's just really nice. It's we have some great friends. One of the surprises for me is how ingrained the I don't even know what to say it is because I can't think of the word right now, is if we do something nice for someone, they do something nice for us. So like I made bread and cookies for class one day, and so like that week we got mangoes back from different teachers. If we go to coffee and we leave a tip, she sends us home with mangoes and avocados. We brought a brownie to her the other day, so she sent us home with an extra avocado smoothie. Avocado smoothies are kind of exactly what you think they are. They're avocado with ice, but here everything includes sweetened condensed milk. So it's a really sweet avocado drink. It has a great consistency. It tastes wonderful because it's sugar. And that's one of the things that surprised me. So switching from traffic to food is the amount of sugar that's in everything. Like there are mornings my joints hurt because we ate out 2 times the day before, and you don't realize how much hidden sugar is in things. But it's not hidden sugar like in the States. It's actual sugar, like granulated palm sugar. So it's not like I think I'm eating healthy and I'm not. It's more of sugar's actually in all of our recipes because everyone makes their food from scratch. Everywhere you eat is a different flavor, even if it's the same dish, because everyone makes their food from scratch.
Mhm. Yeah, one of the questions we had was what some of the strangest foods we've had since we've been here, and I wouldn't say anything is strange. I mean, they eat a lot of seafood, a lot of pork, a lot of chicken. Um, the strange thing for me is Saturday morning we ran out to get some errands, and we stopped to get a cup of coffee and to have breakfast, and I had pork curry with rice for breakfast. So for me, the different flavor profiles that you have around here, while they have a ton of eggs, obviously they use eggs in their fried rice in every dish. They mix eggs in. It's one of the least expensive proteins we can get while we're here. So we do enjoy having fresh eggs in the morning. But for me, the shock of just having different foods at different times of the day, and obviously rice. They have rice with every meal. Um, so
So that meal I had Korean chicken, and when I make Korean chicken, it's not on a bone and it's sweeter. And this was pretty spicy hot wings that I had for breakfast with a bowl of white rice and some pickled something. Not really sure what it was, but it was good. I'm kind of thinking it might have been bamboo shoots. Not positive. It was white and solid. It wasn't a
I was
radish,
thinking
but
Colroy, isn't
that could be it. I
that's
don't
kind of
know.
what it tasted
Yeah.
like to me a little bit.
Yeah. So the other day we went to the market. When we leave campus, you walk half a block and there's three stores. There's a store with ice cream and treats, and then there's another store with like market items, grocery items, laundry soap, that kind of stuff. And then across the street from that one is a food stand she runs out of the front of her house. And so we stopped to get some bananas from her, and I picked up some long green things. And Ken goes, "You know what those are?" And I said,
Nope.
"No, but I'm hoping they're eggplant." And I was right, they were eggplants.
They were.
So, a little more sour than your typical eggplant. So, we're going to put them with some red sauce, which is another surprise. You can't find tomato paste here. So, 2 years without Ken's red sauce is going to be hard, but we'll make it work.
Yeah, a couple other things is the fruits and vegetables that are available here is amazing. Um, when you when they sell their bananas, they're on a sliding scale. So the fresher they are, the greener they are, the more expensive they are. As they get browner and closer to ripeness, as we would say, they get cheaper. And you'll see some bananas that look like they are ready for banana bread. They are brown and you think that they're done. And then you open them and they're like perfect. They're not mushy. Um, they're still at that point, but we got at the local market down the road, we got a big thing of bananas for 10 baht, which is like 30 cents. So we eat, or at least I definitely eat a lot more fruits because of their availability. Um, you might have saw on one of the epistles that we bought a mixer. It's a Bosch mixer, and it was fairly expensive, but it's a great mixer, and Dan can do 4 batches at a time in it of cookies or bread.
200 cookies at once you can mix up. So, it's huge.
Yeah, so it's so it has a blender attachment that's on it. So I've been looking to get that so I could start making smoothies and stuff, and I couldn't find it here. Um, and it was about $70 just for the thing to put on the mixer. So we have Lazada, which is basically a Temu, but it's kind of a higher end Temu. It's kind of their Amazon too, and we've bought some things there. So we've gotten deliveries here from them. So I said, well, let me look for a blender on Lazada. And believe it or not, I found one that was like and I haven't even posted it yet. I just got it yesterday. It looks like a Vitamix. It's a real beefy blender, and it was $3.
Yeah.
and we made mango smoothies yesterday, and it was spectacular. So we're still finding things like that, still getting the house set up. The other thing is the bugs. You probably see us doing a lot of things like this around here.
We're sitting on an anthill right
There's
now.
a lot of ants in the front of the house.
We put some stuff down this morning, but they haven't all gone away yet. So once in a while, you'll see us move or swat or something, and that's just the ants. So.
I think it upset them, if anything.
Probably. But, yeah. So shopping here is another surprise. There are stores everywhere, little markets everywhere, and in my mind, I think little markets mean higher prices because typically
Like farmers market type.
Farmer market, that kind of thing. Not true though. Little markets for veggies usually mean a lower price and better quality. But the other amazing thing is like if you want a jar of soy sauce or something like that, there's really no price difference between the little local market and actually going into Chiang Mai. So there's not a really big reason to go into town to get stuff because it's not going to save you much money. You're going to spend a lot of time and energy, and it's just not worth it. So shopping local is very easy to do, and it's economic, so you don't have to worry about spending too much money. Prices here for 30 baht is about $1. So when we have dinner on the menus, the places we go a lot of times, it's like 50 baht. So for $1.50, you can get a plate of food. The thing that amazed me though is that like you get a plate of food, and to me, it took a while because it didn't look like enough. Because in America, you get a plate of food. Here, you get a plate of food, but it's enough. It fills you up, and you can eat it. So our portion sizes have gone way down since being here, which is great. It's kind of retraining our brain to think smaller, which I love. And then what else do we? Oh, shopping. Strange because there are some things you can find everywhere here, and then there are some things you can't find anywhere here. I spent the first couple weeks looking for a makeup mirror because the one I brought didn't work, and so I had Brina return it before we got on the plane, and couldn't find one. Like every store we went by that there might be a possibility of finding one, I went to, and I finally found one that wasn't right, but it was better than nothing, so I got it. And then Ken ordered one off of Lazada, and it was their advertising here is not what it says.
It was supposed to be a 10 times mirror.
Yeah, blind.
And it wasn't.
No.
It was
two,
yeah.
Like all the others in the stores. But anyway, enough about my makeup mirror saga. It's just one of those odd things like you think you could find anywhere, you can't. I've been having problems sleeping, just new noises, new place, new bed sheets, new air conditioning, all of that kind of stuff, right? So sleeping isn't as easy. So I wanted some ibuprofen PM. Can't find that anywhere either. So you get nighttime medicine, which means you sleep, but there's no pain relief, which is another big thing sometimes you need because the bed here is really hard. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like sleeping at camp.
But with that, so they have, they call them pharmacies,
mm-hmm.
That you can go to where there is a pharmacist that's there, and you tell them what's wrong. So when we first got here, some of the kids came home with COVID, and they actually test for COVID at the schools, and a couple of kids came home, and they just sent them home. And instantly, Danica and I weren't feeling the best. So we went to the pharmacy and talked to the pharmacist and told him what was wrong. He asked, do you have any allergies or anything? And like Danica is allergic to penicillin. So we told him that, and he's like, okay. And he went and grabbed something from behind the counter. It was an antibiotic, and that's your prescription. He gives it to you. And I think it was $3 for that. So we took some, we took those for a few days and felt fine. So that's a little different too. Another surprise was we kind of told that they speak a lot of English in Thailand, and while that's true in Bangkok, and even in Chiang Mai,
in every resort you will ever go to. So please travel here if you want
yes,
to, even if it's not to see us. You're still gonna have a great time at the resorts because they do speak English.
Yeah.
If that bothers you.
But as we got up here to campus, there's very little English, and we've been working hard on our Thai, and it's a difficult language, especially after you've learned English, because they while they have the signs, the Thai signs, they also will put it into a, what do they call that? The
A
Roman
tone? Oh,
of Romanization,
yeah.
to put it into letters. But then as English, if you try to read those letters, that's not how it's pronounced at all. So learning the tones of Thai, how to say things, you really have to clear out your throat and your mouth and really move your mouth when you speak Thai. So we are working on that. That'll be a very long process, but if you saw, we did go to the market the other day, and Danica did buy cabbage totally in Thai.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big deal. Learning the numbers, learning to ask how much, understanding. So that's been great. One of the questions we had was about the weather. What's the weather like? If you pull up the weather app of where we're at in Mae Tang, you're going to think that it's hot and rainy every day.
It is.
It is, but it rains for an hour sometimes. It may rain at night. It does rain every day. Right now, I think it was 85 right now. Um, as you see, the big breeze we have with the trees blowing behind us, there's no breeze. But it's one of those things we get used to it as much as we can. We don't have air conditioning in the place that we're staying, but we do have air conditioning in the bedroom. So before we go to bed at night, we get to turn on the air conditioning and at least sleep in some air. Um, we haven't posted the tour yet of the house. We're still getting things set up, but the first floor is our a bedroom, living room, kitchen, and then upstairs there's 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, and there's 2 beds, 2 single beds in each bedroom. So we do have room for people to come visit.
Yep.
Somebody also asked, what is the best time of year to come?
So the best time of year to come to travel, and the most popular time, is November, December, January. And of course, if it's a popular time, it's going to be a little busier. We haven't been through a tourist season, so we're not sure how much busier. Uh, right now, it gets hot and rainy, and you're going to have downpours each day. Just depends on the time, like Ken said. April is not the time to come. We asked in
No.
class the other day because it's been 85, 90 every day here. And they said it gets up to like 115 in April. So not April. Other than that, we're not sure how the rest of fall goes. I can't tell you if it gets rainier as the rainy season goes on, or if we're in the rainy season and it's just not a really bad rainy season. Last year, with all of the flooding, they said that's the worst it's been in over 100 years. So they do not have that every year. They don't expect it every year, but they do plan for it. The really cool thing about Thailand is we live in the north, and there's a big dam up here, and it creates this beautiful lake where people like to go visit. And there's actually, yeah, that's a bird.
Supposedly.
But there's a huge lake up here where you can do water sports and have a hotel on the lake and stuff like that. But from that lake, they have canals going all through the country, and the canals carry all the water down to the ocean. So everywhere you go, there's canals and a canal project to help with the flooding so that it doesn't just flood down, and to irrigate the entire place. there are tons of rice paddies everywhere, so you know when it's dry season, when it's wet season, and we know it's wet season because they're out planting all of the rice right now.
Yes.
Which is kind of exciting because I'm really excited to try fresh rice. Um, but yeah, so I can't tell for sure when the best time is. I know it's not April.
Right.
Just say that. As far as projects on campus go, to come visit with the team, there are tons. There's something to do everywhere. So
Yeah.
that's not a problem.
Yeah, we could talk a little bit about ministry and mission, about what we're doing right now. So we had to enter the country as tourists. That's the easiest way. You fill out a form online. You pay $40 and you can get a 90-day tourist visa.
So hold on a second. So we entered visas are fun. So we entered the country as a tourist visa because we believed when we got here we would become students full time and do language for a year, take classes, and do that.
Yes.
Great idea. To do that, we needed a school visa, a student visa, but we couldn't get that at home because we didn't have enough time by the time we started the visa process. So they said, come, we'll get a student visa once you're here. Great. We got here, we sat through a couple meetings, and all of a sudden our plan changed. We are no longer students, now we're teachers, and we need volunteer visas. So it's been 4 weeks, actually 5 weeks almost, maybe. Anyway, we were leaving for the Philippines next week to go to M25 in Asia. So it's called the Arise Conference, but it's the big, everyone from the whole region is here, field, whatever we're calling it this year. But all of Asia Pacific gets together in Manila for a meeting, like we do for M25 for North America and Canada. So we wanted to go because we figured this only happens every 4 years. We're here now, let's enjoy it. So we had scheduled to go. So we're leaving the country and we thought we could just get a new visa coming back in from the Philippines. But you can't because that takes too much paperwork. So from the Philippines, we have to travel to Laos, fly over Thailand to Laos, and go in and get a volunteer visa from Laos to fly back into Thailand.
Yes.
So we're really not sure how to do that, but we'll figure it out. And we have to take some paperwork with us. So I think we need a visa to go to the Philippines, and then we need another visa to go to Laos, and then we need another visa to come home. So we're going to learn visas really soon, in a couple weeks, which should be fun. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Melissa. So yeah, so visas have changed a lot in the last 2 or 3 months here in Thailand. So that's why people that have done the visas are not really sure. They've gone to this online visa application process, which is great. Unfortunately, it makes it a lot easier for them to deny visas, and then you have nobody to talk to about it. So we do have this one process of going to Laos, going to the Thai embassy in Laos, get a work visa, and then we can re-enter the country with that work visa. It'll be good for a year, and then we have to check in every 90 days. With that work visa, we have to take pictures every day of us working, of us teaching class, of doing projects on campus. So I haven't started any projects on campus yet because of that. They just wanted us to kind of just do it low key. So we're teaching. Tonight we have English with the middle and high school girls. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we teach at the college, the staff over there. And then on Thursday, we teach the boys, middle school and high school. We teach them English. And actually, I said the corner of my truck is actually over there. The truck that we're using, we're due for an oil change. So I bought all the stuff to change the oil. And Thursday, we're going to have class with the boys, and we're going to change the oil in the truck and just kind of point to things and say, oil filter, oil, look in the engine, and teach them a few different English terms that way. Obviously, boys and girls are different, but they're the same. So
let's talk about the kids.
But teaching the boys English has been, they're not as into it as the girls are. So that's why we thought we'd try something a little different. And you go ahead.
So the kids here come from different areas, different tribes, different. They're from tribes. They're not even from towns. So they all come here. They live here, and then they go to school in Metang public school. They learn Thai because most of them only know Lahu. They learn to read, and they have English class. They're not learning very much, but they have English class. They have Chinese class. The other couple that live here teach Korean class here in the evenings. So by the time the kids come to us for English, we're their third or fourth language. So the interest is not there, which I understand unless they really want to do something, which is okay. So plus, our classes start at 7 p.m. at night with them. So they get up at 6, they leave, they have breakfast, they leave for school. School starts at 8. Then they come home at 4 from school. They have dinner at 5. They have about an hour off to do whatever they want, to shower and change and whatever, play. And then at 7, they're supposed to sit in a classroom again for another hour. So if anyone has any great ideas on how to run a classroom without making it a classroom, great, because I'm about ready to teach them how to make popcorn and talk English that way, because it just, they're all respectful, don't get me wrong, but I see the pain in their eyes sitting there going, really, I have to say this? So we do color sheets, and for some reason they all love to color. So we just let them color for like 20 minutes, and we go through sounds right now because most of them don't know the sounds the letters make, and so we're starting with that. But then the other thing is that you have 6th grade through high school all together. So 6th through 12th are supposed to be in one class learning English with me. And so 6th graders, sometimes it's their first year here. They don't read Thai, and speaking English is really extreme for them. So, and then you have 12th graders who already know everything I'm trying to teach. So that's the kind of classes we have here. So making it fun and exciting is something we try to do. And coming up with new ways of doing it that they haven't heard is hard, because we did had shoulders, knees, and toes, and half of them already knew that song. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so we're working on it. Dory gave me some great ideas about using repeating songs like the Gummy Bear song and those things like Baby Shark, the things that we can't stand anymore. Are really good because they're catchy, they're tunes, and they'll catch on, and they'll be able to do that. So there's a few words that all of them know here, and so we hear that repeatedly throughout the day, which is great because they're trying. And then they're all very friendly with it, and with that, we always take goodies to class, so there's always a treat afterwards. So they keep coming to class, which is good because no one monitors it. So that's exciting. And then the staff want to learn English, so that's fun too. Just helping them they know how to read, they know how to write, they can answer questions, they can fill out a worksheet. All of them can fill out a worksheet faster than anything I've ever seen. And if they don't know it, they help each other because they're a tribal community, which is, I think, exactly as God intended the church to be. If you don't know, you turn to your brother or sister, they help you with it, they answer it. No one is embarrassed to not know an answer. They just look around and someone tells it to them. And it's not like they raise each other up. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And I wish every church was like that. But the teaching staff, they just need practice talking. So we spend most of our time talking for the 2-hour class we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It was funny. The first day I asked, can someone tell me where we should go to dinner? And so PC, who is the person in charge of the foundation here that runs all of the visas through, she said, you get in my car, I take you. And I said, no, you have to tell us how to drive there. So we do a directions game almost every week, where they have to give me directions on how to get somewhere. And so I write down everything they say, and we laugh at each other, and it's a good time just trying to learn English through directions. And each time I stretch them a little bit farther by making them say, is that between or behind or around, and things like that. So we add vocab in each time we do this, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been amazing to get to know everybody here.
Well, let's tell you one thing about PC before we move on from her. So she's a pastor. She pastors in Chiang Mai, and it's hard to believe, but she is the first Nazarene in Thailand.
Yep.
And just let that sink in. Like when you meet her, she's a pastor, but she was the first Nazarene here in Thailand. So she pastors in Chiang Mai on Sundays, and then today she drives up to here, and she stays here for 3 days, and then we help her with English, and she runs the foundation. She's the one who's going to help get our visas, to get all of our paperwork in. I wanted to do it 2 weeks ago, and they said, nope, if you turn in your paperwork too early, they just get rid of it. So you have to wait until a couple days before, then we'll do our paperwork. So we won't even do our paperwork for our visas until next week. We leave on Wednesday. We leave at 1:30 in the morning to fly to Manila, and then the conference is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we fly over to Laos. And they say the process takes 5 to 10 days. We've been told it's been taking 2, so that's kind of what we're hoping for, because it's more time and expense if we have to stay in Laos. But I just wanted to tell you a little bit about PC. She's wonderful, and when I heard that she was the first Nazarene in Thailand, it was like, really? So just that kind of gives you a sense of where the church is in Thailand, and how we say that it's 1% Christian. I feel like it's more, but there's a lot of strides being made here in Thailand, and the gospel is being preached, and great things are happening. It is just a slow process, and we're learning about all that, and learning why it's such a slow process. And we just had our first Buddhist holiday, so seeing all the temples and seeing how ingrained in the culture that Buddhism is, and how it's tied to the government, it really gives you a sense of kind of what we're up against, but people are open to it, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's kind of it's interesting because a lot of places were closed Thursday, Friday for the holiday, but a lot of temples were empty. So is it really a religious holiday, or is it a national holiday? I think it's more of a national side of things. So, and then it was interesting to see all of them that were still open. So it's like, are you open because you're Christian, or are you open because you just want to work? So the work week here is 6 days. They work Saturdays. A lot of places are closed on Sunday just because they want a day off, not necessarily because it's Sunday. Let's see, what else?
Well, let me see. If you have any other questions, you can put them in the chat. Otherwise, I will check and see what other questions we had.
Yeah.
Have you adapted to your new home?
No. So the other night we were in the kitchen and we're both just standing there sweating. And I'm like, why can't I stop sweating? And Ken said, I don't know why I'm sweating. And so I had actually ordered a thermometer off of Lazada. And so we looked, and it was 90 in the kitchen. It was raining outside, so it was 90 with 100% humidity. And we were just standing in the kitchen sweating. And I don't know that I'll get used to that. I'm trying. I am having hot flashes here, in case anyone cares. But it was just, it's not a hot flash because I don't get any hotter. I just start sweating. So that's kind of strange. Like you're standing there having a conversation and all of a sudden, like your whole face is wet. So it's like, okay, well, I know something's happening right now. Um,
Well,
yeah.
There's a question for you. We heard about Ken's driving. Has Danica tried driving yet?
No.
And don't say it.
Why?
She likes to say because Ken won't let me drive. And that's not 100% true.
Yeah.
Um,
It's true.
I told her that it's very stressful driving, and that was a stress I didn't want to have to put on her. It was, but apparently driving, sitting in the seat next to me is stressful for her as well. So it's not because I have this need to drive. I thought it would be easier on her if I would just take up the responsibility of driving. Um, that is something we didn't talk about either. Is we need to get our driver's license. Um, we just signed our lease a couple weeks ago, so now we have an official address here in Thailand. Um, our kids did mail us a package. It has not gotten here yet. Well,
It might be.
it might be somewhere. But once we do get that package, we will let everybody know if there's anything you wanted to send us on how to go ahead and mail a package here. They just mailed it through the post office, and we will let you know when that gets here. But as far as the driver's license, now that we have a lease, we have an address. We got an international driver's license before we got here, which is just a matter of going to AAA and giving them some money, and they give you a piece of paper that says you can drive internationally. And we got that when we were still in Illinois. So we have our Illinois license, our international license, and now we have a place of residence. We have to get a medical check, which is just going into a clinic and telling them, well,
asking, we need a medical check for a license. And
yes.
Yeah.
Another question, do they have speed limits? Kind of. They do have signs. It's in kilometers, obviously. And you'll see them from time to time. I don't think the police have radar guns, so it's more of a suggestion. So now driving in the right lane is the fast lane, so you have to kind of get over, because if you're not going fast enough, people will fly up behind you until you move, or if you don't move, they will drive around you. Our neighbor took everybody out to dinner on Wednesday night because of the holiday Thursday, and I followed him to the restaurant, and that was quite the adventure because I don't drive that fast. I'm trying to keep up with him as we were driving there, so that was fun. But there are not a lot of speed limit signs.
No, and there's not a lot of places to go fast, because even if you're in the fast lane, you're coming up to a stoplight, which I think there's like 5 on the way to town, but you're coming up to the stoplight and people can turn left there. So your fast lane all of a sudden just stops because there's a line of people turning left. So then you have to slow down and get in the slower lane, and then that slower lane is stopped because someone pulled over to buy fruit or something. So it's not a lot of big open roads where you can just enjoy driving.
They're divided highways as well, so you'll have two
yeah.
lanes with a median, and so they have turnarounds, so that you might have to go 2 kilometers further down to get into a lane to do a U-turn to come back. So that's why sometimes the fast lane can jam up if there's not a lane to do that turnaround. If it's sometimes they just have an arrow that says you can do a U-turn here. So that's been exciting. Along with the motorbikes, is like I said before, they're all over the place, and you have to watch them, because all of a sudden they'll pretend like, hey, I'm driving in the middle of the lane now, and then they'll get back over, and it's one of the more challenging aspects. Not even just the cars, it's just all of the motorbikes that are there.
So I liken it to playing the video games. where you're driving in a video game and things come streaming by you from behind, like even Mario Kart, when a guy comes flying by you in Mario Kart, that's what the motorbikes are like. So it's just like whoosh, really fast past you. It's crazy and it's nerve-wracking and it's exhausting. So by the time we shop for like 3 hours trying to find parking, trying to get there, trying to see if the store even has what we need, because we're not even sure where everything is yet in the stores. By the time we get home, we're just like, okay, that was a whole day of buying toothpaste.
Well, if I have cash, if I have Thai cash, if the credit card works, because we've had it shut off from time to time, so then getting in touch with them to get it, because we can't get a Thai bank account until we get a license, and so that's the banking thing is a whole nother area that has been a challenge. Terry just asked about the coffee, which is a very good question, and one I am more than happy to talk about. There is a ton of coffee here in Thailand. One of the things that did surprise me was it is not as cheap as I thought it would be. A bag of coffee, a bag of beans, as we would get in the U.S., is about the same price as the U.S. It's about $10
Yeah.
for a kilo of coffee, which is a little more than we want to pay right now. So I actually drink instant coffee most days. It's surprisingly okay. Not Danica's favorite. Um,
I
but
don't mind it, but I like the espresso instant coffee better. It
yeah,
has more of a coffee flavor. But it's Nestle,
yeah, Nescafe.
Nescafe. So
When we stopped in Bangkok for our orientation, the hotel we stayed at had these little packs. Yes, good morning. Of instant coffee. And every hotel room has a kettle, so you just heat up some water and pour it in there. And I was surprised how good it was for instant coffee. I remember instant coffee as a kid and how bad it was. Um, and we had that, and it was surprisingly okay. So I can get a big jar of the Nescafe for $3 or $4 at the store, and it'll last me almost a month. Um, Otherwise, if I get a bag of coffee beans and grind it and use the French press, um, it only lasts about a week. So I do have some beans in the house. I save for Danica. We did have that yesterday on Sunday. We like to splurge a little bit and have the good coffee. But that's kind of where we're at. There are a ton of coffee shops. And like Danica said, you can get a cup of coffee for about 50 baht, which is less than $2, which in the U.S. is a great price. But to me, it's like, wow, that's expensive when when we can go out to dinner and we can each get a plate of food for 50 or 60 baht. So we'll have dinner for under $3. And when we do the math, and that's one thing we've been doing is grocery shopping, cooking at home versus going out. It's really a wash. By the time you make all the food, clean it up, um, it's just as economical to go out and have some pork fried rice for dinner,
yeah,
or have some pate. So pad thai, excuse me,
pad thai.
pad thai. Um,
And a lot of the restaurants are people's homes
mhm.
that they just have tables in front of, or they live behind the business. So they're just sitting there for their evening, and if someone shows up, they make you dinner. I guess is the best way to explain it. Uh, so it's nice because a lot of times they'll visit with you and you get to know them also.
Mhm.
So like we found there's a Ken's Pizza here, believe it or not. So
It's Pie's Pizza.
it's Pie's Pizza, but it says Ken's Pizza. It did say Ken's Pizza on the scavenger hunt we got of different places to try from one of the care coordinators here. And so I said, "Ooh, we should try Ken's Pizza." And so we did finally make it there. And her name is Pi. She's really nice. She's been doing pizza. She speaks English because she worked in the hotels before she did pizza. Her crust was phenomenal. And we told her so. So after she got done making us pizza, then she sat and talked to us while we ate, and that was really nice and exciting. And we'll definitely go back. But it was funny because she asked about Maytang and how long we'd been there, and we just said 2 months, but we'll be here for 2 years. And she's like, okay. She's like, I have a teacher friend there, and then we asked if it was Rebecca, and she's like, yes, Rebecca. And so Rebecca hasn't lived here probably for 2.5 years. But they remember you because you're not Thai. So you stand out a little bit. So one restaurant we go to, we also walk by when they're setting up to do some shopping. And they always wave at us and say hi and say wadika. And smile as we walk by because we've gotten to know them a little bit, even though we haven't had conversations with them yet, which is heartbreaking for a pastor that I can't talk to people. But I'm working on it.
We're getting there. So today we'll spend a few hours in the morning studying Thai, going through some more phrases and some memorization. I did want to talk a little bit about the projects that we have around here. Our field coordinator has actually been on home assignment, so we got to meet him as soon as we got to Bangkok, and then he's been gone for the last month on home assignment, and he'll be in Manila and then coming back in July. One of the projects is a solar project. We've had 2 brownouts since we've been here. It's weird. You'll be sitting there and all of a sudden the fan that's on high will all of a sudden just start spinning very slowly. And all the lights will start to flicker and just go down, which happens not a lot, but it does happen. They don't have a steady power stream around here, which is why we try to have protection on all of our electronic devices in case something happens. So they want to put up about 30 or 40 solar panels to help offset that, to get some free power, obviously, since we have so much sunlight. So we're going to start working on how we're going to fund the solar project, where we're going to put the panels. We have ideas already where we're going to put them. The other thing the campus needs is a road. Possibly, we would love to have concrete roads throughout for the motorbikes and for the trucks. There's a lot of ruts, and it's hard to drive through campus. So the concrete is another project. And another project is to help clean up the area where the girls have their laundry, where they hang their clothes up to dry. A lot of the ceiling panels are disintegrating. So once I'm able to work a little bit more, we're going to start working on that and try to see how we're going to fund some of the projects, because unfortunately we all of the funding was to get us here for 2 years. And now we have to start working on trying to come up with some funding to do some of the projects here. I know that's what our field coordinator, when he went on home assignment, was to help try to raise some funds for the campus and to try to make some improvements around here.
So what they don't tell you when you're sponsored is, well, I don't know if they don't tell you or they just didn't tell us. But anyway, when you're sponsored, you raise your funds so that you can live here for 2 years. And that's great. And a lot of times they say it lasts more than 2 years, which is great. But you don't have any project funds to work with. So, and we're not complaining about this. We just want it to be known of what's going on. So if you ask, we do get a paycheck once a month, which is great. But we use it to invest then in classroom supplies and cookie baking stuff and brownie mix and coloring pencils and all of that kind of stuff. Pencil sharpeners and just all sorts of stuff like that. That's what we use our paychecks for, because we are blessed and we don't have to worry about stuff in the States right now.
If anybody saw the post about the butter, just trying to find butter and the cost of butter, sugar, and flour, so Danica can bake cookies for the kids.
Yeah. And what we're finding is Dunkin' Donuts is actually cheaper. There is a Dunkin' here. So on donut day, I'm not making donuts. I'm just going to go buy them. So it's funny because you'll see little streams or gags about when you're first in the mission field and you're trying to do everything like the locals do and cook like the locals do, and then 2 years later you're just ordering food. I get it, and it's only been a month of why you would do that. But anyway, so what happens is typically you come into the field, you spend a year learning your language, which is great. And part of me wishes we could do that, but then part of me realizes it's a 2-year assignment right now. We're not sure what happens after 2 years, where God wants us. And they want to learn English. While we're doing ministry more of working together. We're doing ministry more of people watching us live our life and the way we live and what we do for others and how we treat others is more of our ministry here, because a lot of the kids here their parents got married at 17. And I don't even know if they got to choose who they married, but they got married at 17. They had kids. So by the time they're 23, a lot of them are divorced already. And if they're not divorced, there's a really big opioid problem because they live in the Golden Triangle, and to them, it's life, it's not drugs, because they've lived with it their whole life and for many generations. So they'll have it on them, they'll get caught by somebody, and then all of a sudden they're doing life in prison because they had drugs on them, even though to them, this is what we do. So it's really hard for the kids here. They don't see a lot of married couples doing things together that actually want to be together, if that makes sense.
I've ended up sitting at the ladies' table a lot because when people come in, they separate immediately. The men go over here, the women go over here, and I just sit down to have dinner with Danica, and then realize, in a few minutes I'm sitting at the ladies' table. So another thing that we're praying a lot, we're discerning a lot of what is God calling us to do while we're here. And I think right now we've come to building an English program that's sustainable and repeatable, and the stuff is here of how to do it.
They've had multiple English teachers come. They've had people stay in our house before and teach. They've had people from like the regional office come up here for a couple months to have classes, but nothing has stuck. So we're really trying to create a program. I do worksheets every week. I keep the worksheets. I'm trying to organize it all so that if anything happens, we can put that somewhere and someone has a starting point. Because right now, I just have to say, I praise God every day for Chat GPT and Perplexity, because I don't have to create a worksheet. I can ask for a worksheet and I can tweak a worksheet, but I don't have to come up with all of the details. The books here for learning English are written by people who speak Thai, so it's not always the best English that the worksheets have in the books that you can get in the bookstore. So that's kind of our main ministry right now, is to create this, and they really want the college here to be international. In order to be international, they have to offer English 1, 2, and 3. There's another English teacher. Her name is Angel. She comes and she teaches the students right now. And right now she's teaching English 1. They're learning sounds and how to sound out letters and things like that, and sound out words. And I hope she's making it repeatable. We haven't talked about that, but that is a good thing to talk about tomorrow. So that whoever comes after her can teach the same thing, and that we can develop the system for the school. Which is funny because before I was in ministry and before I had kids, I did document control. So creating systems is something that I can do. And who knew I would use it for God? But so anyway, that's kind of what we're doing. And then to be a couple in a safe house, we have kids that stop by. They see us working together. They see Ken doing things and me doing things. And hopefully it will help the kids just understand that I don't want them to think there's more out there necessarily. I just want them to see that there's other things and other possibilities. We don't want to disrupt their system by being missionaries who come in and say, no, you have to do it this way. We don't want to do that. We just want to support them in any way that we can to help them have a better life, but not a different life. So, and with that, I guess we'll ask if there's any more questions.
Yeah.
It's been almost an hour. We thank you so much for all your time. And yes, we will get better at doing this more often for you. So
we just we love and appreciate everything that everyone has done for us. Your prayers mean everything to us. They Danica said they do sustain us. It's hard to be away from our family and friends, but we know what God is doing. We know what we were called to do, and we appreciate everything that everyone has done.
And when you respond to the epistle emails, it's just amazing because it feels like you're next door.
Yes.
So I know it's not always easy to open the emails and read everything that we write, but we're trying to keep you updated. We're trying to help you be a part of this. And it's just nice to have those conversations. So thank you.
Melissa did ask if the kids have any agricultural backgrounds. Do the kids have? Well, that's yes. That's generally what they do. They're farmers. Mangoes, avocados, rice, vegetables.
This tree right here has fruit in it, and they're consistently up the tree, picking the fruit from the top.
And they are little balls like this big, and there is just a little bit of sweet stuff in it, and they break it open. They suck the little sweet stuff and they throw it away.
Yeah. Laura asked how to pray more specifically. This week and next week, we really need prayers for our visa to come through in Lao quickly.
Yes.
Just God opening all of those doors, making it simple and easy, and we can get back in time because we have to take almost 2 weeks off of teaching and 2 weeks away from here to go get the visa and to do the meeting. So that would be great prayers. They have had people who apply on Wednesday get told Friday they need more papers, so then they have to stay a whole nother week. We're hoping that doesn't happen to us.
Yeah.
Other prayers for us. What other prayers?
I think right now that the sustainability of an English program that we're putting together,
yeah.
and yes, just getting the proper visa, the right paperwork. We're going to be there in Lao on Sunday, and then first thing Monday morning we will be at the Thai embassy, and hopefully by Wednesday we'll have our visa. Is our prayer, and then we have a plane ticket to come home on Thursday. But I did buy the more expensive ticket so that it can be changed.
Yeah.
So, Teresa, thank you very much. Oh, let me get this out of here. We love you too, and we appreciate you guys. We're glad that we were able to do a video for District Assembly to give you guys just a little bit of what we're doing, where we are, and we're so blessed to be able to have this time with you right now. And like Danica said, when we get back with our visas, we will do another one and keep you guys updated. Let us know if this time works well. We thought it would be good because it's Monday morning for us, Sunday night for you. We thought this would be a good time. So let us know if this time is good, and we will continue to do it.
Yeah.
This time going forward. So.
Yep. We love you guys. We're praying for each of your churches and each of your families. So Ken's going to pray for us.
Father, we love you and we praise you, and we just thank you so much for this time. We thank you for all of our friends and family that are out there supporting us, that are loving us, that are praying for us. We truly need it and we truly appreciate it. And we thank you for today. We thank you for everything going forward. And I just pray continued blessings over everybody, and that that your grace, love, and mercy shines down and goes through all of us as we go on. Father, we love you and praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, guys.
Good night, everybody. Thank
Good
you.
night.